we're in perhaps the grandest place of them all, Phimai Historical Park. At one end of the road was Angkor Wat, and at the other end of the Angkor Highway was Phimai. Which came first? That's very weird. I can feel an electrical in it. Look, oh, what was that? What was that? Watcher, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jimbo of the YouTube channel JB Wonders, and this is a fantastic place. It's Phimai Historical Park. Check it out. I join you today back on the road again. Yesterday did an awful lot of kilometres, many hundreds of kilometres. I did film something on the way back, left the camera on zoom, didn't pan out that well. Anyway, we had a day out yesterday in Kong Chiam in Ubon Ratchathani province, and then drove all the way back over to Nang Rong, just near Buriram, dropped my mate Steve off, got my head down for the night in a very comfortable hotel, 500 baht a night. And now this morning I'm on the road again. We're on the way to Phimai Historical Park. This is Sirindorn Dam and this is Sirindorn Lake, and it goes for miles and miles up that way, look.
We're at the far northern end of the lake at the hydroelectric power plant, but right at the southern end of the lake is the infamous Pattaya Beach, and people who go up country for Songkran and things like that for a holiday, that's where they go and party.
The signs from the main road were all in Thai. We got here, all the car park, everything's in Thai. Why should it be geared towards any foreign visitors? But consequently, it's free, and I do like free. Tell you what, it's bouncy, isn't it? Slidey, slidey. Let's test that out. This reservoir, just like any other reservoir here in Thailand, you can get all different kind of boats out. Party boats, boats that you can stay on, restaurant boats, pleasure boats, long tail boats, every kind of boat. Think we better go and skim a stone before we head off. Got about 500 k's to do this afternoon, so let's go skim some stones first. One thing an Englishman always learns off his dad, or he should do, and that's how to skim a stone. You've got to be able to do it in any shaped stone as well. Let me show you. Even round ones, look. I'm just going to breathe all this in for a minute because I said I dropped Steve off, so we're going to go about 450, 470, 480 kilometres. Totally f***ing awesome.
Wow, what a welcome. I got out of the car, approached the ticket desk, whereupon tourist police lady wanted to take a selfie with me, and the lady behind the booth was making a big fuss as well, saying, oh, welcome, welcome. I don't know how many foreign visitors they get here, probably quite a few. Still, the welcome was fantastic, and I compare it to the welcome you always get at Ayutthaya. There's a particular lady there, a lot of you may know her. She's the moodiest lady in all of Thailand. I've been going there for many years to buy tickets, start the day. Doesn't matter if you speak English to her, Thai to her, you could speak anything at all. You cannot break a smile. I've tried everything. I've tried doing a little dance, little song, telling a joke. Not interested. Here is the opposite. Kind, warm, welcoming Isan people.
And in today's video, we're in perhaps the grandest place of them all, Phimai Historical Park. Join us. Right, we've got to try and swerve these kids, haven't we? School trip to Phimai. Maybe I should have got here a bit earlier.
I'm standing on the Naga Bridge, and this place was built over 1200 years ago. Let's take a little wander through history right now.
Must be a big school trip place. It is a Friday.
It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you here to Phimai Historical Park in Thailand. Prasat Phimai is one of the most impressive Khmer ruins in Thailand, both in its grand scale and its intricate details. In fact, just look at that place, particularly the central prang. Many people believe that this was used as a model or a prototype for Angkor Wat, which was built about 100 years after this was constructed. However, there was something here already. There's been a temple at this naturally fortified site since at least the 8th century, although most of the existing buildings were erected in the 11th century by the King Jayavarman VI. When the Khmer Empire was at its peak, there existed an imperial road, which was known as the Dharamasala route.
At one end of the road was Angkor Wat, and at the other end of the Angkor Highway was Phimai. Which came first? Buddy Carp.
guided tours up there. I'll swing back round here, look. I'll walk right the way through and then we'll go round there.
This place is massive. They say the boundaries are about the same size as Angkor Wat, so...
If you draw a straight line on the map, this ancient Khmer Highway goes all the way from Phimai to Angkor Wat. Now, directly on that line is Phanom Rung Historical Park.
It's the roof and the shape of the lotus flower, that's Hindu. Middle bit represents I forget what the mountain's called, but it's central in Hindu culture.
But this place, judging by things they've dug up, it was built for Buddhist, turned into Shiva, but it's Buddhist and Hindu, but there was other stuff going on here as well. Animism for sure.
This is the back of it. And there's one of the city gates there, so...
The boundary walls would have been just there.
The history of this place becomes even stranger when you think that the history books say that this temple was constructed as a Buddhist temple, yet all the other Khmer temples were constructed as Hindu temples, all of them. Why was this one constructed as a Buddhist temple? Was it Khmer? Or was it originally Dvarawadi? What do I know? I'm just a foreigner visiting this land, but seems to me that there's a few things that need explaining. It seems everything that I read contradicts itself, because in the same article I'm reading about how this was constructed as a Buddhist place. A lot of it's Hindu anyway. You've got three prangs, and the central one, the largest one, represents Mount Meru, as I said before, centre of the universe in Hindu cosmology, and it's enshrined, or the sacred linga, the symbol of the Hindu god Shiva, his cock, is enshrined within. So and the central prang, the same one with the Hindu stuffing, contains inscriptions dedicated to Buddha, indicating that Phimai was built as a Buddhist temple. There's a lot of food for thought here, shall we say.
Just want to give you a sense of the scale of this place. It's huge. Like I said, I'll do a voiceover, but this predates most of the other Khmer stuff. We'll get onto that in a minute. And the restoration's still ongoing. There's a lot of the stuff that was, I guess, just couldn't be put back together, look. there would have been other buildings. Look, there's the stones, look, and we can walk right the way round the walls if we want. And again, fortified with massive sandstone blocks. If you're thinking it's pretty Angkor Wat-y, well, it is. Most of what you can see there was done in the same or very similar style. You can hear something going on there in probably the temple next door. Again, another massive pile of stones. What were they? Who knows? Very peaceful spot, even though I know there's like 150 kids through there. I can't hear them. I should try and go right the way around and start again, and then we shouldn't see them at all. Sounds a bit mean, but it's all right. Wow, what a tree, look at that. I think I'm just going to walk around and vlog until either my battery or the SD card runs out, and we'll see what we get, really. Look at the roots on this, though.
I'm just pontificating here, and I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not a historian either. I've written no books on the subject, and I'm not an expert. However, I do have a good pair of eyes and a keen mind. So it's quite clear that a lot of the early stuff here derives from Mahayana Buddhism. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but around the time we're talking about when this was built or the original things were here, Dvarawadi period was Buddhist, right? And the Khmer were Hindu. So as usual with a lot of these places, I think that you can see just from looking, some of them were originally Dvarawadi or whatever they were built by people as Buddhist. Then the Khmer or that king came along and changed them all to Hindu. Please do correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, the kids are there, so we can go right back to the start. We won't get in their way. Wandering techers. If you want to have a very peaceful day, it's very easy to get one, isn't it? If everyone's going clockwise, go anti-clockwise, for example. So it's all bejesus, isn't it? So I think this, and I will do a voiceover like I said, I think this was probably originally 8th century, so the 700s, perhaps even the 600s. And perhaps there was something here before as well anyway. Well, some new statues over there, but first let's go east. That's pretty steep. Really dominates the centre of town here, and they've built all the way around it. I think it's different eras, different things at the bottom, but that was definitely a thing in that era, was the whole at the base of a doorway. Okay, feels like I've got through level 7. I've beat one of the bosses, and here I am right on the edge. Someone's going to jump out any minute. Look, the boss of bosses. Local fire station. And again, always these holes. Oh, I'm getting hot now, but that's, oh look. Honeycomb. That means some big nest nearby, I think. Let's risk it for a minute. Can't see it, but there it is, look, there's the honeycomb. Look, there's all the walls, look, you see the outside of the walls there, look. Still, no, it's been restored, but it's very impressive. And again, look, all the way around the outside, look. And I'd imagine they would have gone down a fair bit, so they would have been a lot higher. You know, with every generation, things get built up more and more, don't they? Roads, everything. And look, all pathways lead to this central lotus flowered roof. Right, we can do that in a minute. We've done a lot of those shots. Let's have a look down the side bit. Sideways wander. Right, we're in the walls now. On the walls. Oi. Bloody carp. Oi. It's fixing his trap, look. Got the older ones back here, look. You got the, I don't know if these have been cleaned up or very early Buddhist, I think sandstone, isn't it? But that's Buddha with a bull, like a Shiva bull. Okay, Buddha riding Shiva's bull, that looks like. Okay. And Naga there, but only 7-headed, not 9-headed, which is different to yesterday. And look, this is where the old stuff is back here, look. That's where the old stuff is, and look, in fact, look, they've got a couple of the old lintels back here that they're, I think they're doing up. Look at these, look.
What does that depict? A ruling class and a slave army? Does it depict a working gang of peasants or slaves? Don't know. Somebody please enlighten me.
Loads of the old red stone there, look. Beautiful. Carp. As always, these places had various water sources and various ponds for various things, look. Sorry if I'm panting, I'm walking about really fast and it's really hot. It's the Cambodians trying to shoot foreigners or phalangs, but I'm in hiding. Now that was to get rid of those pesky pigeons, I would imagine. Normally firecrackers get rid of the birds, right? We've gone around on ourselves so that we can do the start bit again in a bit of peace and quiet. Right. Look at that roof, that's incredible. Oh, I'll have a look at that in a minute. Look at it. I read somewhere they hadn't mastered the Khmer or hadn't mastered the vaulted roof. So they did something. They built various things to be able to do that. But we'll have a look at that in just a minute. And as we enter this doorway, you'll notice the figures at the bottom. They differ as we go round this temple. Let me show you a little bit of the detail as well. I mean, a lot of it's been blasted away by a long time of, let's say, weather. You see the original floor down here, it would have been big flagstones, and there's different things that they used. But just remember again, the UK or England and Europe, we were in the dark ages at the time.
If you do have time and you're visiting here as well, you should probably visit the Bam Prasat prehistorical site that was inhabited thousands of years ago. There's pottery there and that sort of thing, and I believe they might have skeletons there. Strangely, That's exactly the same as Muang Sing over in the west of Kanchanaburi, where you have this town, or this constructed town, with the prangs in the middle, supposedly Khmer, moats around the outside, walls around the outside. It was a town. But then really close by, there's a prehistorical site, again, with pottery and stuff like that there. I would argue that both these sites have been actually inhabited for thousands of years.
Well, that's weird. I felt... That's very weird. I can feel an electrical... Look, oh, what was that? What was that? I felt some kind of electrical energy. I put my elbow down. Like when you rub a balloon or something. Static, that's what it's called, isn't it? Anyway, let's continue our little journey. Now the kids are all up there in the middle, look. They haven't made much progress because they're probably getting taught all about this place. Great history trip for school kids. Because what is modern day Thailand has a remarkable history once you start to peel back the layers. We're talking pre-Ayutthaya, pre-Sukhothai. We're talking Dvarawadi and some other kingdoms as well. And I'm not sure if these would have all been ponds again. I would suggest they probably would have been. Okay, I want to go and have a look at this roof, and I'm going to give this camera a little rest. I'll go around and take a few photos because it's getting so hot. It's trying to cook my fingernail right now, and I didn't sign up for that fingernail cooking. Oh, sounds like they're getting educated in the Thai style with a microphone. Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan, probably because I've got a foghorn for a mouth anyway. So. Phimai, that's where we are. Phimai. Welcome to Phimai Historical Park. And look, this is what I was saying about the roof. Dodgy, but looks like it's well supported. Wow, don't know what lives up there. Looks like spiders and stuff, look. Nests and all sorts. Don't want to look up too much. There's some of the detail though in the carving, look. Knowing that's been there well over 1,000 years is quite incredible. And again, you've got what I'm going to call them Dvarawadi gargoyles. That's what I'm going to call them.
Furthermore, to my knowledge, this and Priya Vihya Prawihan are the only temples, or the only Khmer temples, that don't face east. It was said by many that this temple here faced south or directly to Angkor Wat. It does not. It is south facing. It doesn't line up with Angkor Wat.
So I guess they called this area the galleries, the hallways around the outside, where I'd imagine there was a roof and some cover, some respite from the heat. Bless them. That was an English trip. You get a talk at the front, you get given a worksheet to learn yourself, you get something to read, and you'll be sent around, let's say 8 people per teacher, 6 people per teacher, and you go around on your own as a little group. You go and learn things, or you could just be lectured to. Either way. Seems to me, I'll do a voiceover, but this king, what was his name? Jayawayavayan, don't mean any disrespect to Khmer people, in the 11th century. He went around and built loads of stuff, but I would suggest that first, he found loads of stuff and built thereupon. There was definitely animism here first. Dvarawadi, and I'll tell you about a guy who suggests a kingdom just near where we've been, actually, just by the Mun River, that probably erected certain places. It was an empire that probably Jayavarman defeated, and then history was rewritten.
According to 8th century Dvarawadi Buddhist boundary stones by Sema, found on Mount Kulen, Cambodia, Hiram Woodward proposes that the kingdom of Wendan once controlled the Angkor region before Jayavarman II proclaimed independence of the Kampu Jadisa, the Cambodians, the Kampucheans, from Java in 802. In such hypothesis, Jayavarman II probably either defeated Wendan and then moved the capital from Indrapura to Yasodharapura in the north, or formed allegiances with the communities in Mun and Chi watersheds against Sitep in the west.
There was a Dutch fella actually, he's written a book that claims it's all an ancient Indonesian civilization. I'm not sure he's talking sort of Sumerian, ancient, or older than that. I haven't read it. That's going to fall, isn't it, at some point? Not on me, mate, not today. Oh, they're coming, they're being allowed to run around now. Let's get away. They're allowed free rein now, look. They're coming. I also feel strongly that you shouldn't be filming kids and chatting to them on video and then putting them on YouTube, so that's the other reason I keep running away. If I wasn't filming, I wouldn't. It's a very joyous, happy sound, isn't it? So when someone spots the foreigner, we have to run after them. No, please don't come and ask me anything. Thai, con Thai, no?
Yes. Con Thai, no?
Chai.
Look, I'll save Sema ancient remains for another time. They are Dvarawadi. The place was built quite a long while before Phimai, and Phimai had something Dvarawadi on the site originally. Right? And Sema can be linked to the place that we're going to go to next, the wonderful, wonderful place of Sitep. You don't want to miss this next one.
Is that prisoner counting off days, weeks? พูดไทยได้งูๆพลาๆนะครับ อะไรครับ20ปีกว่านะมินบุรีนนท์จอกกรุงเทพนะไปเที่ยวนะ สวยมากนะครับผม And then you wonder what the purpose of things like these were for. Look, got the markings in the ground for what they were, and obviously all the stones there to carry. Pretty incredible. Hello, Toddy Carp. Bless them, big school trip, loads of kids come here. What a wonderful place to have on your doorstep to be able to go and take kids on a school trip. And this building on the outer reaches was used for, it said, the king to prepare himself for ceremonies, but also this was a place used to prepare offerings, I presume to the gods. I've always been a fast walker and a fast talker. These days I'm a bit of a porker, always been a corker.
Something else to think about briefly when I talk about the Wendan kingdom. Possibility that it was in the far northeast of Thailand, and possibility that it was located on the Mun River. Coincidentally, the Mun River flows to the north, or directly to the north of this town. In conclusion, was Prasat Phimai built or used as a blueprint for Angkor Wat? And in turn, was Prambanan in Indonesia used as a blueprint for Phimai? I don't know. I'm just a foreigner visiting these places and taking a key interest. In the next video, I'll tell you about a lot of the different kingdoms that were here in this region and how a lot of them have been kind of written out of the history books.
I'm now going to take you to a slightly contentious archaeological site. I mentioned why, but I think it's been run by the only archaeologist I know, really. My favourite guy in this area. I've got a couple of his books that I bought from River Books in Bangkok, and his name is Charles Hyam. So we're going to go and check that out. We'll have a look at the museum first, though.
I just had an interaction with a couple of kids, deliberately didn't film it. One kid said to the other one, Phalang just went in that toilet. The other one went, no, Phalangs don't come here. And he went, Phalang's here, mate. I came out the door and he just pointed at me and went, Phalang! I said, yeah, I am, mate. Hi. I want to give a quick shout out to Isan in general. A beautiful place, and in the rainy season it's a green, lush and pleasant land full of rice fields, farmers, big hats, magnificent moustaches, the mighty Mekong River, mountains, history, prehistory, Dvarawadi, Khmer. I'm not going to mention the other kingdoms right now. We'll do that soon. But a shout out in general as well. And the roads in Isan are really, really good. A lot of them are dead straight, built on old roads, and some of them built by the Americans during the Vietnam War. But in general, the roads in Isan are fantastic. The central people, why do you look down on Isan? I don't get it. Why? Because there's a lot of farmers. You should celebrate this area, and this should be one of the #1 areas for holidays for Thai people, in my humble opinion. I don't know if that's dancing or mincing, to be fair.